Hi guys, Mrs. H here. Today we're going to be looking at the writing strategy CER. Remember when we are completing our notes that we want to have two screens up on our computer right now, one of this video and the other of your own notes. During the notes, whenever you see a gray slide, that means you are going to be having to perform a task or a question on your notes. So let's go ahead and get started with our notes on CER. So the first thing we need to know is, what is CER? Well, CER is actually an acronym that stands for Claim, Evidence, Reasoning. And a CER is a type of writing strategy where we would be answering a question. We could be analyzing a graph, or we could be drawing a conclusion on a lab experiment. So we would use this writing strategy in any one of those places. So let's look at each step of this writing strategy, what it is, and how we would use each one of these things. So the first thing in the writing strategy would be the claim. And so this would be your topic sentence. This would be a statement. It's more than just a yes or no sentence. It answers the questions, what can you conclude? It usually relates two things together, the cause and the effect, or the independent variable and the dependent variable. We tend to avoid things that say, I believe or I think. So I have a video here that I want you to take a moment to watch, and we are going to make a claim about what happened to the cat on this video.
Honey, have you seen our cat? Nope.
Okay, so in that last video, what conclusion could we draw about the cat? And so we could draw the conclusion that the cat died. So the claim being made on the video is the cat died. So now let's look at some different claims here. This is about the movie Kung Fu Panda. And so you want to now take a moment and rearrange these teal statements from a poor claim to an excellent claim. So just use your mouse and move these around to place them in order of a poor claim to excellent claim. So I'll give you a minute here to go ahead and do that. And if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and look over where the poor claims are, notice the poor claims are short. There's not, they have an I think statement. Adequate claims do not have I think statements. They are more than just a yes. However, there's a component of the sentence missing. Notice the excellent claim tells us our claim and also tells us there's going to be examples about how the Kung Fu Panda shows ideas of enlightenment. So check your answers to the answers on this sheet. So now the next thing that we want to do is, after we have made a claim, we need to support evidence to the claim. So the evidence must be adequate, appropriate, and sufficient. And so we want to make sure that the evidence is related to the claim. So again, looking at our video, we want to find evidence in the video to support the claim that the cat is dead. Okay, so again, what evidence do we have to support what happened to the cat? So remember we had said the claim was the cat was dead. So I need to find evidence that supports that claim. Well, evidence that we saw in the video included the missing cat sign and the dog burying the cat's collar. So again, both of those things would be evidence to support the claim that the cat is dead. So now here we have a paragraph I'd like you to read. In the paragraph, you're going to highlight the claims, the claim that supports health in red, the claim that supports your image, smoking's bad for your image in yellow, and that should be orange on the bottom. So then what claim for smoking is bad for your social life in orange? I'll give you a few minutes here. Okay, so on our screen, you should see again the yellow, red, and orange highlights, each supporting a specific aspect of why smoking is bad. I wouldn't say that smoking is bad for my health because I'm going to have wrinkles. Well, although we don't want wrinkles, it's not necessarily a negative thing for our health, but an increase of emphysema would be something that is poor for our health. And an expectancy of 7 minutes shorter, that would again be something that is negative towards our health. So we want to make sure again that we're providing evidence that supports the specific claim. Okay, so now we're looking at reasoning. So we had claim, evidence, reasoning. So in the reasoning ties the claim with the evidence together. This is typically uses scientific based. It's an explanation of a scientific principle and provides justification of why the evidence is important. Now, remember, in our video, we're not really having a scientific base here, but we do want to provide a reasoning. So what would the reason for the cat's death? Well, maybe the reason for the cat's death is the cat and the dog do not get along. We know traditionally cats and dogs do not along. That's the traditional story. And so here we have the dog killed the cat because the dog and the cat don't get along. You could also explain another reasoning being that the dog did not want to have to share the Doritos with the cat, and so the dog was selfish, so he killed the cat because he didn't want to share the Doritos. Again, we are connecting the evidence to the claim, justification of what is happening here. So here are some examples of reasoning. We have a poor, adequate, and excellent reasoning. In this scenario, we're looking at, I believe that the United States should spend money to help other people in the world. Again, notice the I believe statement, not necessarily something we would want in a claim, but that's okay. Today, millions of children are not in school in Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, and Zimbabwe because money spent on other countries. If we look at the poor reasoning, notice that it's not really explaining anything. It tells us a little glimpse, but just not enough. Notice the excellent. We're providing a reason for why this money should be sent. We're elaborating on the reasoning behind it. So again, take a minute to read over these and notice the difference between the poor, adequate, and excellent reasonings. Okay, so on this one, notice this slide is gray, so it's your turn. So you are going to be highlighting the reasoning in red. So find the reasoning in red. And so we have two places in the paragraph that we have reasoning. Notice the article discussed low evidence of higher test scores. So we need to explain the reason why don't we see higher test scores. And so the reasoning is because it's difficult with so many breaks. And so then why is the cost? So what's the reason for the increased cost? And the increased cost is due to air conditioning, more electricity being used. So again, the reason why do we see these things happening? And so now here are some examples. This is IG Nobel Prize is actually a spoof on the Nobel Peace Prize. And so I took a few they took a few of the Nobel Prize spoofs, broke down their claim, their evidence, and their reasoning in these science studies. So Michael L. Smith won the Nobel Prize, the IG Nobel Prize, for determining the most painful part of the body that experiences pain on the bee sting. So he wanted to know which part does hurt the most. And so what make a claim? So I want you to practice here. Obviously you do not have any evidence here, but go ahead and pretend like you have some evidence. So make a claim about what part of the body sting hurts the most. So Mr. Smith actually made the claim that the nostril is the most painful location of, to receive a bee sting, and the upper lip is the second most painful. The evidence he provided was that he actually stung himself on different locations on his body, and that the pain was rated on a scale of 1 to 10, and the nostril and upper lip both had the most painful on the pain scale, the highest number on the pain scale. So that was the evidence he provided. And so what is the scientific explanation for why does the nose hurt so much? One, we find that the pain is more intense in locations where the skin is thinner. We also know that reaction to pain is greater at important body locations like openings. And so our nose and our mouth are openings. And so we're going to experience more pain there. And then the last scientific reason that we experience more pain there, measured neutral activity shows increased sensitivity on the thumb, tongue, lips, and digits. So again, we're providing 3 reasons why the nose and upper lip experience more pain using that claim, evidence, reasoning strategy. So here's another example. So again, here we have a physics prize winner, and he questioned what is the effect of hair color on horsefly attraction. And so what is the effect? I would like you now to try and make a claim. What effect does horse color have on horsefly attraction? And so what claim did the scientists make? They made the claim that horseflies are less attracted to the white horse than the dark horse. And what evidence did they provide? They said that brown horses stay 2.2 longer in horsefly-free shaded forests than white horses. Brown test surfaces trapped 21 horseflies, while white test surfaces attracted 1 horsefly, and black horse models trapped 25.5 times more horseflies than white. And so what is the evidence? What is the reasoning for this evidence and claim? The reasoning is that has to do with polarization. And so horseflies are attracted to higher polarizations of light reflected from dark surfaces, since white animals reflect low light with lower polarizations. Fewer horseflies are attracted to white horses. And so then our last CER we have is, does knuckle cracking lead to arthritis of the finger? And this was done by Dr. Unger. And I want you to now try and make a claim. And so what was Dr. Unger's claim? Cracking knuckles does not lead to arthritis of the fingers. And what evidence did he provide? So for 50 years, the author deliberately cracked his knuckles on his left hand twice a day, but did not do the same. Excuse me. But did not do the same to his right hand. And at the end of 50 years, the hands were compared. There was no arthritis in either hand and no apparent difference between the hands. And so what, excuse me. So what's the reasoning? Why do you think this happens? Your turn. Okay, and what reason did Dr. Unger make? He said it is possible that there is an arthroarthritis prevented therapeutic benefit from the exercise effect on joint lubricating resulted from the habitual knuckle cracking. So he found that there's some kind of lubrication that could happen as a result of the knuckle cracking. So here is a checklist. So when we are writing our CER claims, our evidence, and our reasoning, there's things that we want to make sure that we are doing and not doing. This checklist can help you write your own conclusion based on evidence and stating that claim. I want you to also note that this CER strategy can be useful in just everyday life. So when you're reading a newspaper article or you're watching the news, you can observe the claims that the article is making or the claim that the journalist is making and analyze the evidence that they're providing for that claim and pay attention to the reasoning behind those. This is really helpful in analyzing information that is coming to you, not just scientific information. I mean, yes, we did some kind of funny things, but this can be used in any area of your life. This could be used in making claims about art in your art class, in your social studies class, in your English class, and in your everyday life. So this strategy is not just something that you use in science. It's everywhere. So I hope this was helpful in understanding what the CER is, how this CER can be used, and we will be practicing the CER strategy over the next few days.